Maybe it's time to give these tired old bones a rest. All right, show me what you've got.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we are getting out the magnifying glass to look at 10 hidden secrets in Fallout games. For this list, we'll be looking at those locations and moments that weren't woven into the main fabric of the games. Things that seasoned pros could have missed that first-time players may have accidentally stumbled upon. Juicy little secrets. Is this your first time hearing about any of these? Let us know in the comments below. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Elder Scrolls reference.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
When players think of Elder Scrolls references in Fallout games, they almost always first think of the secret plant found in Fallout 4 that is identical to the Nirnroot from Skyrim. This particular Elder Scrolls reference is a single game backwards in each respective series, with this Elder Scrolls Oblivion reference being in Fallout New Vegas. In the Freeside area, there is a bunch of utility poles, and on one of these poles is a small hidden plaque that simply read TES-04. Small and out of the way, the plaque is simply a nod to the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, even if it is only mentioning its name. In unrelated news, my hometown of Marupna in Australia once unveiled a plaque for their police station that said Marupna Police Station. This has nothing to do with anything, but it's a shame that more people don't know about this. North End Graveyard. Although technically the North End Graveyard is unmarked, it does have ties to one in-game side quest. Still, many players may have missed the booty located within Shem Drown's coffin. Shem was buried in a very shallow grave, so finding and looting his coffin is as easy as 1, 2, 3 copper bars, hell yeah! As well as the copper, there are also 2 silver bars, 1 gold bar, Shem's skull, and Shem's sword. There's also a note ominously referencing the sword. Many players aren't aware that Shem Drown is actually a real-life coppersmith and tinplate worker who is responsible for some significant cultural icons in real-world Boston. His current resting place is located in Boston, Massachusetts, in the general vicinity that the North End Graveyard is located in Fallout 4's Boston. Grave digging. More creepy grave talk to come. This is one of those early helpers, a little, if you know it for many players of Fallout New Vegas. Explorers and observers may accidentally stumble upon this as it is located in the starting location of Goodspring. If the player gets their hands on a shovel, they can head to the cemetery at Good Springs and start digging to get some interesting early game loot, including a silenced 22. But head north of Good Springs to a rocky alcove and you'll find Chance's grave. Dig there to get Chance's knife. Now you're a quiet assassin. And also a real grave digging piece of shit. The Roach King. Fallout 3 has one of the strangest encounters you'll find in the entire series. Players wandering the wasteland northeast of Minefield have a chance encounter to come across the NPC known as the Roach King. The Roach King changes appearance and gender with every playthrough, so each encounter is a little different. The Roach King sits atop a throne made of Red Rocket playground equipment. You know, like a crazy person, and is always immediately hostile. After fighting them and their legion of rad roaches, the player can find a minigun and a mini nuke amongst their loot. Lucky's. Lucky's is a gold mine for players wanting to do some weapon customization and crafting early on. Totally unmarked on the map, Lucky's is a small grocery store with a friendly scavenger who you can trade with, and a store full of stealable loot. It's important to note that almost everything in here is owned, so you will lose karma. But that doesn't really matter to you, right? What are you, some kind of nerd? Lucky's has a safe, some Nuka Quantum, Lucky sunglasses, which gives +1 luck, and then a plethora of very handy crafting items. Finding this spot will make you feel very lucky indeed. Isabella's Camp. Isabella Proud is a fascinating story within the Fallout lore that many players would have missed out on due to the location of her camp lying beyond the boundaries of the typical map, so the chances of players accidentally stumbling across her camp are very low. Through exploration, you can find the many locations that Isabella references on the terminal at her camp, and you can also find the corpses of her and her research partner, Jason. The terminal lays out an interesting tale of scientists trying to better understand the feral ghouls of Fallout 3, and is vivid in description and passion. Oh, that almost sounded intellectual. Quickly, play a fart sound. Plumber's Secret. Although Fallout 4 wasn't everyone's favorite Fallout, it's undeniable that the world is filled with nooks, crannies, and corners of lore and loot that make exploration feel more alive than any previous entry. One of these little nooks is known as the Plumber's Secret, a warehouse located in Cambridge that upon first glance seems pretty barren. But if players look at the ceiling, they will see plungers keeping a bunch of loot stuck to the ceiling. Simply shoot the plungers and the loot is yours. Another perfect example of Fallout 4 taking the cake on world building.
Yes.
Crazy Cat Cabin.
Full of surprises, aren't you?
At a certain point, a secret location becomes so popular that it loses its secret status completely. This particular location may be the most famous secret spot in Fallout 4, but it feels wrong to not at least mention it. In an unmarked cabin lies the Crazy Cat Cabin. Inside the cabin lives a hermit and over a dozen cats. The hermit sells cat meat and cat outfits. The walls are covered in cat paintings, and the decor makes space for comfy spots for cats to rest so that they can enjoy the apocalypse in style. Serenade Murder. Many players don't know about the weapon known as the Mysterious Magnum, originally held by the Lonesome Drifter who can be found camped out north of El Dorado Gas and Service. The Lonesome Drifter has a harrowing backstory similar to an old western, but none of that matters right now because if you want his gun, you're going to need to shoot a bunch of holes in his body.
Maybe it's time to give these tired old bones a rest. All right, show me what you've got.
The reason this gun is so fun to have on hand is because every time you pull it out of the holsters, it plays its own theme music, which makes you feel like a Western gunslinger at all times. Dev Room. Developer rooms or developer testing areas are nothing new. They're fairly common in Bethesda games, but that doesn't stop them from being secret. If players know the right console commands to input, they can teleport themselves outside the game's typical map to these testing areas, often located deep underground. In these areas, players will have access to every single item in the game, as devs need a place to test stuff immediately. In single-player games, this isn't much of a problem, but in Fallout 76, players managed to find a way into the dev room without console commands, which led to Bethesda having to reach out to players who'd accessed the room and been banned to ask them how they did it, in exchange for a possible account reactivation. That's hilarious. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.